Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Vlog Review. Today I'm talking about Gun Crazy and Daymare, 1998. Let's go ahead and get started. Gun Crazy is a throwback action platformer retro game, kind of in the same vein of something like Contra. Actually no, it's pretty much just Contra. And I gotta say, I did check both of these games out purely out of interest. And boy oh boy was that interest quickly lost. Gun Crazy starts out okay enough, but very, very quickly becomes very bland and very uninteresting. It's a very simple run and gun, but requires no real skill to it. Enemies that come at you, whether they're above you or on the ground, if you just hold down the fire button, you'll take them out, and if they get close to you, you have this auto punch. I mean, you do have a dash move, but half of the time I kept on forgetting about it. I didn't really need it. I wasn't sure if at certain times when you dodge, if you become slightly invulnerable, but I wasn't able to test that properly. Enemies are barely even noticeable too, because when other enemies explode, coins apparently pop out of them but get automatically absorbed into you, and that's obviously just purely for points. Every once in a while you'll stumble across a new weapon, whether it's a spread shot, a laser beam. It can at least be slightly different, where your primary weapon will have a bit of a range to it, so other weapons will have a longer range to them. But the fact that a lot of the enemies seem to be the same, either they are these little blobs that just hop across and you don't even notice them because you're just automatically firing or just holding down the fire button constantly. Insects flying in to drop off more blobs, an occasional robot, mostly drones who will fire at you or launch missiles at you. And the first level seems to be a bit of a boss rush, where I swear there's 3 different boss fights, and they all have the same damn tired pattern. And I gotta say, this game's sound at times is grating. Like how there's one machine gun sound effect, I think from the second boss, that is just too goddamn loud. And I only played this game for about 20 minutes. I mean, I would have tried to play it longer, but I just lost interest. I got to maybe the 3rd level. Some of these levels don't even feel like levels. Of course, there's an elevator level, and then there's a side-scrolling level where you're on your car and you can move the car by going from one end to the other, but you have to move about the car to be able to do it. And I also find it interesting how that level has apparently invisible walls where you're meaning to try and fire at something, but your shots are cut off for some reason. The fact too that there's absolutely no plot to this, even though it seems like that there should be one, that you're a cop who your car gets destroyed when you first show up, but you get your car back. I just don't understand why they didn't bother to put at least some sort of a fun plot into it and play with that, where it was these criminals that are using mechs and whatnot, because you're obviously some type of cyborg and you have to chase them down after they've robbed a bank or taken hostages. You got to track them down, and one by one you got to fight each criminal boss character in their mech. But no, it's just random robots and shit. And I would have played more of this, but I just got so goddamn bored. And the fact that there's no difficulty screen, not really much in the way of options. This was an indie game that I thought would have been cool, or at least fun, but it very quickly wasn't. Moving on, Daymare 1998. First problem with it, the title name is dumb. I went into this hoping for at least a fun, Resident Evil-esque survival horror action game, and certainly Resident Evil it's trying to be, but it fails at trying to be a carbon copy of what Resident Evil is. The models look fine when they're stationary, but then when they start talking and moving, they look absolutely horrible. And the story could not be any blander. You are a hazard rescue team going to a secret station where there's been some sort of an outbreak, and zombies. To be fair, I only played this game for about an hour and a half or so, and this was only in the first recording. So you start off with 2 guns, with a pistol and then a machine gun. Your machine gun only has 1 clip in it, which I didn't realize, which on me, I decided to fuck around at one point, fired my shots just all over this room, and then come to find out that, oh, that was my only clip for that machine gun, because now I'm on my pistol. fuck, and then I was just out of ammo. The fact that when you start off that you have such limited ammo, which I didn't realize because I got so frustrated with this very first puzzle that I had to look up a walkthrough on, and the game, again, presents no in-game hint about how to solve it. I mean, I thought it did with this computer monitor, you know, that's next to it, where you have to try and activate the power for these particular areas, and I tried writing down all the different things that were highlighted on this map, but that didn't seem to work, so I had to look up a fucking walkthrough. I just got so bored, because again, here's another goddamn game where you're sprinting, again, just feels like a light jog. Enemies are stupid and their models look terrible. I swear there were times like when I was moving and when enemies were coming at me, things looked like they were kind of blinking in and out at times. Like, this is a game that's clearly not finished, and this was a $40 game. And what was kind of the final breaking point for me was when I get to this temperature puzzle where evidently my character needs to grab the sample of whatever toxin it is that this company's making, and a zombie that looks a little bit like the Tyrant from Resident Evil cracks out of this other room and starts chasing me around. And even though I had prepared for this and made sure to pack a shit ton of ammo, all my machine gun ammo did nothing to him, and 2 hits from him, even though it was full health, killed me. The second time I died, I tried to loop him around in this area and then try and run into this room where I thought my objective was, but I guess I gotta kill this thing first. But what ended up happening was when I died, the game loaded me 2 checkpoints back to that first puzzle with the power room. I already wasn't having fun. I was bored. That some characters are inconsistent, where at one point your character, who I'm not sure if this person is supposed to be a rookie or not, because it seems like they talk about him at first, you know, at the beginning of the game, like he is a rookie and he's the only one that's wearing a mask. And then at one point when you're talking about, you know, having to kill a security guard, you know, because you can't leave any witnesses, you have to follow protocol because your character is so edgy and dark and apparently your commander, I guess, or your sergeant or whatever who's on the helicopter is saying like, hey man, I mean, like, that's kind of fucked up, isn't it? Like, hey man, like, once you know, get your ass off the helicopter and in the battlefield, you know, maybe then we can talk. And then a little while later, he's giving you orders about, I don't give a shit about whatever submarine it was that you found. Get your ass to work. And okay, game. These were both just very boring and uninspired. Again, like, I don't intentionally look for crap. You know, I like to find at least something good that I can talk about on my channel, but sometimes whatever just makes for good content. So, you know, let me know what you guys think, and, you know, special thanks to my editor Nick for helping me out on this, and I'll see you guys next time.